Welcome to the Everyone's a Critic Movie Review Podcast, 1993. I'm your host, Sean Patrick. With me is Amy Kay.
Bonsoir.
No MJ this week. They're afraid of aliens. Desperately afraid of being abducted.
Yes.
And so they could not watch Fire in the Sky.
Cannot blame them.
Starring 90s heartthrob D.B. Sweeney.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was going to be a Jurgen classic this week, but apparently it's our sweet D.B. Sweeney who plays Paul Rudd in this movie.
They look so much alike.
Oh my god.
He's got Paul Rudd's haircut from what? Wet
Hot American Summer,
yeah.
Diggers, 40-Year-Old Virgin, yeah, all of the above.
Weirdly enough, the movie is set in 1975, but he's always had 1990s hair.
That's true. That's true. No, okay, so but again, too, I just want to mention that Robert Patrick plays Tim McGraw in this movie.
Which
he does.
Apparently you have a huge attraction to Tim McGraw.
Let me get back to you on that one. Hey, Get
in. Because you found Robert Patrick incredibly attractive.
I'm going to hit that. I'm going to go back in time and hit that in 1993.
But first of all,
yeah.
This is the true. How do I do finger quotes in a podcast?
Open finger quotes, close finger quotes.
Air quotes. True story of Travis Walton.
Yeah.
Who claims he was abducted by aliens in 1975 while working a job cutting trees. He and his buddies out late at night. Claims that he walked out into an area underneath an alien ship, and then the big blast of air sent him flying backwards, and his friends thought he died, so they left him like dicks.
Dicks.
Straight
up dicks.
Bunch of pussies.
Well, but...
Bunch of fucking pussies.
You do
running
the same
off
thing.
on their buddy.
You'd do the same thing.
It's almost like they made this story up.
Why are you so anti-alien all of a sudden? Why?
It's not all of a sudden. It's been my entire life.
That's some bullshit. Obviously, you never watched the X-Files.
I also don't believe in the Easter Bunny. You want to question that one, too?
You know what I think is interesting is that you're a non-believer. That's fine. Henry Thomas is in this movie.
The other guy who could prove that there are aliens.
Exactly. He knows E.T. So I think we all know by now.
Could he be more inconsequential in this film? Could he be
exactly like my ex-boyfriend back in the 90s? Seriously, he looks just like Corey. I can't even look at him.
He has the whiniest face.
He has a whiny face, which is weird.
So whiny.
Corey didn't, but yeah, I'm just in case you ever. Sorry, Corey. But yeah, Peter Berg is another one that's in there. Again, one of those actors that I always thought was really good in everything he did. Character actor, but you don't see him anywhere now.
We were pretty sure that either Norman Reedus or Stephen Dorff was in this movie, but apparently not.
Bradley Gregg played him.
Gregg
played Stephen Dorff in the film. It was so weird how many of these actors, there's a dude on there, what was his name? Scott McDonald, who looked just like Ethan Suplee if he had dark...
Ethan Suplee now, who's...
Exactly.
If you've seen today's Ethan Suplee, he's buff.
Yes.
And
exactly.
really super built now.
Oh my god.
Completely not the guy from Mallrats anymore. And that's what this guy looked like.
Totally.
Or David Harbour. He's kind of David Harbour thing going on.
Sorry, my dog.
There are a lot of wigs, lots of beards.
So many wigs, gorgeous beards. Well, not all. Some of them just look like, spirit gum with cotton. I'm talking to you, Robert Patrick, at the end of it. Yeah, take that beard off. I'm going after that shit. He was hot. He was so hot in this movie.
You have a long hair fetish.
I do. Not for people that look like Santa Claus or anything. Not pointing anyone out. Fuck you, Brian. But I do have a thing for long hair. I always have. Yeah. So
even if it's on the guy from Terminator 2.
Well, and he was also Agent Doggett on X-Files, and I fucking hated him on that, so... No, he was in a movie called The Road Within, which I thought he was really good. He played Robert Sheehan's dad in that movie, and I thought he was really good. So now I want both of them. Robert's hitting me some of that. Yeah. All right, anyway, this film.
Yeah. So D.B. Sweeney is Travis Walton. He gets abducted by aliens, allegedly.
Stop saying that.
I'm not going to say it.
Travis Walton, the real Travis Walton, by the way, was in this film as Citizen Number 3.
Yeah.
Which I think I found him. He was in the church scene, I think. This is still his story to this day.
I wonder why, because he makes money going to conventions and has books and essentially gets paid to believe it, that he was abducted by aliens. So yeah, I think that's a good reason why he might believe in aliens. I don't know.
They're real. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Just watch an X-File. Just one.
To the credit of this movie, this movie does ask some internal questions about their motivations and what might have really happened via the character played by James Garner, who is completely out of place in this movie.
Oh, I kept wanting to call him Murphy.
Everybody in the film is like got these really like redneck attitudes and like redneck look, and he comes in with a redneck look, but then he comes in with that voice, that James Garner voice, and you're like, you don't belong here.
Pork, it's the other way.
He just sounds so much smarter and more educated than everybody in the movie. He seems like he came in from a different film entirely to just go, what the fuck is this bullshit? Like.
I can't stand any person in a film that's wearing a bolo tie, though. I fucking hate that shit so much.
And tan. So much tan.
Once again...
Tan color. He wasn't tan himself.
90s?
For Arizona, which is weird, nobody had a really bad tan.
That's true. You think they'd be a little bit more weather-beaten. I think Robert Patrick was a little weather-beaten. I'd like to weather-beat him.
Oh, golly gee.
No, what was I going to say? In this movie, James Garner, one of my favorite parts of watching it with you is just imagining when they're telling their story.
So yeah, there's a flashback here, because obviously they're telling the story, right?
To the cops.
So the first thing we see, we have to watch this twice for reasons that make no sense. We're watching in the car, they're barreling through the forest. They arrive at a bar just out of nowhere. The car is just beaten to hell. And they walk in the bar and just sit down and like have a beer. And then one of them gets up. Okay, fine, I'll call the cops. He calls the cops, and then we have to hear this story again, where they tell the cop what they saw in the forest that made them, go on this car chase away from whatever they saw. And it's very funny because they have to like go back and like start their entire day. So they like essentially what we're being told then is that this flashback they're explaining that DB Sweeney had to stop and get donuts.
Oh, drive his fucking motorcycle on the goddamn sidewalk. What a dick. What a dick.
But,
Paul Rudd wouldn't do that.
There's, like, exposition about the two, like, him and his buddy, DB Sweeney and Robert Patrick wanted to start a motorcycle place.
We got to meet... MT.
We got to meet the love interest of DB Sweeney, the woman who becomes Travis's wife.
It's kind of creepy.
Like all this stuff, but you don't just imagine that like you're James Garner, the cop, and you're asking these guys to tell you what they saw in the woods, tell them the story, which apparently they've already told the cop, and now the cop wants them to tell it to this detective. So now they're doing this for a second time. Did they do that with him, by the way? Did they tell him about DB Sweeney getting donuts and, and what their kids had for breakfast?
For him, right?
We had to stop and pick up the three other guys and take them into the forest with us. Like
Robert Patrick's character said. And then I guess he tried to run into a truck, and then he got on the sidewalk, grabbed some donuts, and headed on down to my house, which I saw none of. And by the way, they are supposed to be best friends. Let's just make this clear. They're supposed to be best friends. And the minute fucking DB Sweeney / Paul Rudd show up at Tim McGraw's house, the minute he shows up, he's like, hey, well, his name is Mike in the movie. He's like, hey, Mike. Hey, Mike. Mike.
And Mike won't say a word.
Mike.
It doesn't tell us why he's upset with him.
Nope.
Doesn't say a word about it, just to stay silent for no good reason.
No, and then we established that Travis... is a really good climber. He loves to get on top of houses.
Climbs on the house to go up and say hello to his girlfriend and gives her donuts. Which again, but they're relating this in a flashback as if they're being questioned by a police detective. So why are you giving this information? Just get to why you've been saying that aliens have abducted your friend to everybody else. So why you're relating this exposition now?
Yeah. Do you want to know about my best friend climbing on my house?
Yeah, he's my best friend, and he climbed up on my house to go say hello to my sister,
who's gonna fuck later,
who I don't want him to marry. Right. Just so you know, that's an essential part of this alien abduction story. Is I don't want Travis to marry my sister. Just imagining Just imagining James Garner just sitting there, just get to the fucking alien abduction already. Just tell me what happened.
Like when I said it's like, pan back to James Garner's asleep at the table next to him.
Just I'm fucking bored.
You guys fucking done yet? Do I need to know about the donuts? Like, they just... None of that makes any sense. But, okay, I do want to clarify.
Yeah.
I do want to clarify. I think that it's a solid cast. I think that there's great acting in this film. It's just more fun to make fun of the movie, really.
Well, that's not an acting issue. That's a structurally... It's a director... Yeah. That's a director's issue. It's a writing issue. It's like, why... You have to explain why you're in this setup, why you're in a flashback, and why that information in the flashback is essential to the story.
Right.
And none of that is essential to this story at all. It's a lot of padding.
It is a lot of padding.
It's a lot of unnecessary information. The most essential information is that Travis Walton has been abducted by aliens, and...
Allegedly.
And you guys... And the cops have to determine whether or not they're telling the truth or not, which of course they're not.
Speculation, sir. I give everyone the benefit of the doubt.
I mean, this movie should be about James Garner's character.
No.
I
wouldn't fucking watch it if it was. I'm sorry. No. Murphy's Romance is the only film he ever did, and that's it.
What about Rockford Files?
No, fuck that. No. No, a good May-December romance with Corey Haim in it. That's the only film he ever did, in my mind.
What about The Notebook?
Oh, fuck The Notebook. Fuck you people who like The Notebook. No, I don't mean that. I'm kidding. That scene where they're crying at each other. Yeah, okay, so... As we get into this, and again, we're establishing that not all of the people in the group get along. We've got Craig Scheffer playing another awful character. Great actor, but I hate him in every movie he's in. I don't know
dirty.
why. He's always so dirty.
He's very dirty. He's a dirty, dirty man.
And again, I think that they tried to make him look like he was Native American in this, like, or we didn't know, like he was on a reservation. Like that was really weird.
Yeah.
It's Craig Scheffer, whitest man alive.
Don't dissociate those things.
No,
that way. That doesn't work.
It's a very white film, by the way. Also, we're holding up with that moistness. We're getting that moisture in this '90s film. God, '93 is just wet.
It is Arizona.
It is.
To be fair.
Well, yeah, but
it's just not a dry heat.
It should be a dry heat. And then we've got what I don't understand is, like, you know, you've got, I get it, I get these people in the true story, and you didn't see me do air quotes with that, but in the true story, I don't having people like the characters of, even if they were there, Henry Thomas's character and, what's his name? Bobby Cogdill? Was that his name? No, that's his name in the movie. Whatever that guy who looks like Stephen Dorff. In the film. For me, I would just cut out those characters, because the central people really are Robert Patrick, D.B. Sweeney, and then the weird Craig Scheffer thing. And Peter Berg. Like, do we need you, Peter Berg? You're just wearing glasses and a weird fedora. Like, they're establishing him that he's the intellectual logger. I mean, I don't know what that is, but...
We have to know, of course, that D.B. Sweeney, Dallas, Craig Scheffer nearly dropped a tree on D.B. Sweeney, and that they fought that day. With Travis disappeared.
They both had chainsaws, and they're going to go at each other.
Chainsaws at each other, which is
that would have been a badass fight.
Don't threaten me with a chainsaw fight and then not deliver.
Agreed.
Movie.
I would have just watched that, like just that. You want to watch chainsaw fights again? Yeah.
Mandy with Nicolas Cage has a chainsaw fight.
Does it really?
It's amazing.
Oh, God. Well, only Nicolas Cage can pull that off. That's brilliant. That makes me happy.
Yeah, I love that.
So we're establishing that you know, basically it's Travis and Dallas, Craig Scheffer's character. They don't really like each other, so they automatically assume that he's, you know, once our sweetheart goes and gets lost.
Sweet Travis.
Sweet Travis. Classic Travis. When he's gone, they assume that Dallas could be the murderer, or could have murdered him. Yeah, basically.
Now, of course, Travis Walton is not dead. He's
not
alive.
Mm-hmm.
Which leads to the question then: what did happen? Obviously, he wasn't abducted by aliens. I think that's pretty fair to say. They did find in the truck a tabloid about a Nebraska man who had claimed to be abducted by aliens. Tabloids at the time were paying people to say that they'd been abducted by aliens, so...
Here's the thing, though. Every white person in the 70s and 80s loved the Inquirer kind of shit. Our mom had like 70 of them next to the toilet. That's where you read them. But you knew that those were they were for fun. You weren't reading them. I mean, of course it's Arizona. I mean, you might believe that shit. I don't know.
Yeah. The thing about it is like...
What?
It's just so dumb. Like, it's very clear these guys made up this story. And what bothers me is that them making up the story and them coming up with like a place for Travis to be and then how Travis should act after he comes back is a far better story than the one they're telling here. It is. It's a better story. It's a more interesting story.
But it's not the true story.
But if they tell that story, they don't have a story that they can monetize for years. They've got a story they can tell one time and everyone goes, you guys are full of shit. We'll never believe another word you say.
How do you not believe in aliens?
How do I not believe in aliens?
We are so insignificant in this world. You don't think that there's other life forms on other planets?
Do I think they come here and steal only white people?
Yes.
Explain that one to me, please. Explain to me that. It's always the same white guy that they take.
It's like every person in this movie. All of them. I'll tell you what I saw last night. Looked just like a Dorito chip in the sky. Well, I mean...
There's an entire planet, guys. There's an entire planet full of people.
Yeah.
Why aren't they dropping by India? I mean, India's got a lot of people.
Here's the thing. Other countries have seen UFOs. It's proven. It's scientific fact. We could have aliens in our family right fucking now. How do you even know? You could just be a host.
The family from Nuki lives right next door. I saw them the other day. They're still wearing suits, drinking Coke.
Well, like you do. Like you do. Yeah, I think you're right. That would have made a better story, but again, it's not the true story. It's just based on a true story, folks. Although, just every time they said Mr. Walton, I just kept, wanting to yell out John Boy. It'd be funnier if this were actually like a movie about the Waltons and John Boy getting abducted by aliens. That'd be badass.
It is weird that there's a movie where he's in a movie with somebody named Walton.
Yeah. Now I would watch that. I'd stretch it out like a TV show. I'd watch that too.
John Boy has too much integrity to believe in aliens.
Does he though?
I think so.
He did orange juice commercials all the way through the 80s, so you really don't have much integrity at that point, do you? Do you? Any self-respect? The guy with the mole. I don't remember his name.
Back to aliens.
Oh, sorry. The things you don't believe in.
Yeah, exactly. Because they only attack the same people every time. They only go to, it's just that they want to make sure that they grab the most. They don't grab the president anytime. Nobody ever grabs a president or a senator.
No, because
they don't grab a celebrity. They don't grab,
How do we know that? Didn't Shirley MacLaine have that?
No, she had past lives.
Oh, whatever. Same thing.
Far more believable than aliens.
I agree. Still think you're wrong. This movie, though, it doesn't really meander. I guess it maintains its story. I think going out when he, basically everybody in town thinks that Mike and his friends are full of shit, right?
It's a weird town.
It's like really weird.
So like when they come rolling up the first time in the truck before they've told anybody what's happened, they walk into the local bar and everybody's just staring at them.
Yeah, like they don't know them.
Like
they've never seen them before.
Everybody knows them.
And it's true.
Like the entire town knows these guys. These guys are around all the time.
Right.
They're established as citizens of this town.
Well, and the waitress even like, hey, kitchen's closed, and it's like
she's trying to get rid of them.
Exactly. The sign said the dining room was open, fuckers. I saw it. You saw it. We all saw it. And they weren't even hungry. Just get them a fucking beer. Shut up.
Why did you just assume they were coming in to open the kitchen? Like
chicken fried steak night. Yeah.
Either that or it's just a poor establishment of like this. Is this out of town and they just didn't bother to tell us?
It's weird on TikTok.
Oh my God.
Are there UFOs, aliens on TikTok?
Your phone is listening to us right now. It is taking. Oh my God.
You're probably right.
China, hi.
Hi, China.
Do you have aliens?
They do, because they're part of the fucking earth, you dick. Anyway, so they're all acting like they've never seen these guys before, when they're all, yes, you're right, established people in the town.
Because again, it could just be poor. It just could be poor scripting, where they just don't tell us that these guys are out of town when this happens.
That's okay.
But then why is their sheriff from their town the one who's responded?
That's true. Good point.
They have pulled this sheriff, or this detective from Montana for some reason, which, what the fuck?
Fucking Montana.
Was he an FBI agent? Was he from, I thought he was from the FBI, maybe?
No, he went...
They don't establish what James Garner is from. Is he Rockford? What is he?
He's Rockford. I'm sorry. No, they don't wear fucking bolo ties in the FBI. Sorry, that's not part of the garb.
But, like, this is the kind of laziness that bugs me in a movie. You've got a thing about where, like, if a character, like, buys gum and they don't pay for it, it drives you nuts.
Yeah,
You know? Like, I got a thing where it's just... I just find that when you don't address simple details like this, that it's just lazy and sloppy.
Yeah.
And this is a lazy and sloppy movie.
It is.
That doesn't address very simple details, like tell us where we are.
Yeah, like X-Files always did down in the corner of the television. We always knew when they were in New Mexico. Always. Or Texas. Arizona.
Again, titles on screen is a little bit lazy as well, but
Fuck you!
just,
X-Files is a national treasure, you dick.
It's a way to do things. It is a way to do things, and on television it's a little bit more forgivable.
It looked cool in the 90s.
But there are other more elegant filmic ways to explain that these guys are just not in their town, and that's why that's why people are reacting to them like fucking strangers.
Well, they could have had Sheriff Blake Davis be Sheriff Exposition. Say, hey, we're not in Snowflake, you guys.
Snowflake, which is the town where they're from.
It's the town where they're from.
Snowflake, Arizona, which sounds ironic to me.
Oh my god. There's too many jokes to make there.
Before climate change, it was ironic. No, it's just sad.
Oh, can we talk about, okay, and of course, in a film like this, we would have to get a ufologist, Jarvis, whatever. Cut that part out. Like, we see him twice in this film, and I'm sorry,
and
it doesn't
make... needless.
Yeah, it's absolutely needless.
What does he add to this movie?
No, and he makes Mike look like a fucking asshole, because Mike's like, yeah, let's bring that guy down here. We just found D.B. Sweeney totally fucking naked, with his eyes, like, all fucked up and shit.
Allegedly, this is how
it was in the movie. You saw it, I saw it.
Right. In the movie story, yes. In reality...
He was very moist in that point.
I have a theory.
Yeah.
I have a theory that they all got pissed up, just drunk as hell. Mm-hmm. They beat the shit out of Travis Walton, left him there in the forest thinking that they'd killed him. And then when he kind of woke up like 5 days later and wandered to another town, that he just like, they just told him that he'd been abducted by aliens.
I think that's terrible.
I think it's true.
And Mike, played by the hottie, Robert Patrick, he was Travis's best friend who didn't talk to him for whatever fucking reason.
Because he was banging his sister.
And stop banging my sister, dude.
But let me bring my sister to find you when we go looking for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's... I don't know. Some of these establishing details.
They drop in another weird detail here, and again, the movie is almost critiquing itself at times. Like when they throw in the tabloid in the truck, or there's a moment where it's two of the guys are talking. One of them is Peter Berg, and he says something about the Apache live over that hill over there. Just randomly, because I guess there was an Apache guy they just randomly saw in the forest.
Which again, though, establishes that whole thing that, like, X-Files did it too, where you're trying to connect the Native Americans with UFOs every fucking time.
I wasn't making that association.
No, but that's what they do.
My association is that's pretty much where Travis probably went.
Oh,
to
good
the
point.
reservation.
I didn't think about that.
Like after they kicked the shit
out of him. And then
they
did the ayahuasca, and then that's whenever... Yeah,
exactly.
Right. Okay, I like that.
Exactly.
Can we do that movie? It'll make me happier.
Like theoretically, you know, they could... If he'd just taken drugs and fallen down a hill, it makes sense, you know? Like, let's just say he does a bunch of fucking mushrooms and falls down a fucking hill.
Boys will be boys.
Strips off all his clothes and wanders into another town 5 days later. Like, that is a drug trip.
I mean, that is
that
ayahuasca,
a lot of people have had.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Bill Hicks has talked about that very drug trip.
Yeah. Hell, I ended up in the post office completely naked one morning. So, more on that later. Yeah. I mean, okay. I like that you're trying to build another story outside of the true story that was told in this film. I can appreciate that. I'm sorry. I'm a believer. I am a believer.
Have you seen an alien?
I think we all do. I think we see him every day. You've met Chewie. He's down on the floor down there, little fucker. Can I quick just interject? Mark Isham's fucking score in this film.
Oh, fucking Christ.
It just, I literally thought that there was a car outside of our house. Okay. And then they used that one particular piece not once but twice in this film, and it was like in the second time they used it, it wasn't even worth it because like Mike goes back and he sees DB Sweeney's bike, his motorcycle that's sitting in his house, and all of a sudden they're like and the score, it made no fucking sense using it there. Actually, it frightened me a little bit.
I'm sure it was there intended to create some sort of tension for whatever reason in this dramatic, quiet scene.
Really?
Again, that again speaks to the attention to detail that is completely lacking in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, where do we put the proper music? Like, in the flashback early on that they're relating to James Garner. Well, they're suddenly we've got, like, a fine orchestral score came in just as we were starting to cut the forest.
That's right.
I'm sure they probably didn't relate that part. I'm just saying.
I know we were both picturing Robert Patrick's, and then this gorgeous orchestral score came in as we were shaving down these trees out there in the rim. I called it the rim. Yeah.
There's just nothing natural about the way they tell this story. There's nothing, believable about the way they tell this story. You can tell Robert Patrick is deeply invested in his character, but it's like,
yeah, I just wanted him to like be a country singer in this, because he looks like fucking Tim McGraw until the end where he looks like Billy Ray Cyrus. I mean, the whole thing is just, it's really mind fuckery. But I would have watched that movie too. It's like all of a sudden he just becomes a country singer.
We talk about the wig work in this movie.
That bad weave at the end on Robbie Patrick. That made me sad. That made me really sad. Because he didn't look hot anymore. And we all know how I judge hotness. And that was enough. And then, even Craig Scheffer, but I think Craig Scheffer's hair, when they ripped off when they got into that fight and his do-rag comes off, it looked real.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because it looked very fake through most of the movie.
Well, so I'm thinking maybe he had... Like, they filmed that early on, and then he had to go shave his head for, like, a TV show or something, and then they put that wig on. Because when you're hunched down, and you're wearing a crunchy wig, and you bring your shoulders back down, I mean, like, it was, like, sticking out straight. It looks so bad.
Very Gallagher.
Oh, I couldn't stop laughing. I was just like, oh, that's bad. That's bad.
Yeah, it was not attractive.
See, I like those details. If you like those wig comments, you should hear all of my Twilight wig comments, because I've got quite a few of those. But that's another podcast.
Weird aside, I just watched a movie called Pinball, The Man Who Saved the Game. And there's this actor, Mike Feist, in the movie, and the guy who's the movie's based on, the guy who saved pinball, Roger Sharp, is known for, and has, like, his logo is this gigantic mustache. And when they put this mustache on Mike Feist, it looks like he looks like a kid who's just cosplaying as his business dad.
I love Business Dad. Oh, I see it now.
It looks very silly, doesn't it?
I have a problem with it. Again, it actually looks like Robert Patrick's hair at the end of this film. Just over his lip. Yeah.
Over his lip, yeah.
They just shaved off a portion of it. There you go. Smells like Robert Patrick. That's great. Wow.
Yeah, I don't recommend that movie. Look for the review coming soon.
Yeah. That's terrible.
I just mentioned that because the wigs in this movie are very bad.
Yeah.
And the hair choices in general, like, people really hated the 1970s.
Yeah.
Like, why did they give DB Sweeney the Dorothy Hamill cut at the end? What was that about?
I was just happy that he was showered. Because again, we have to address that
matted hair,
fucking hour-long time in the spaceship, and
Now,
he's floating around.
Okay, yeah. I will say that special effects wise, that was impressive.
It looked cool.
Like it was a cool
Yeah.
sequence. I'm sure that's the main reason why they made the movie was to make that sequence.
Just make that a short film. Like, that would have been badass. I would have fucking loved that. But yeah. But there's so much, like, gelatinous goo.
It reminded me a little bit of the alien abduction in Nope, which is really awesome.
Oh, yeah.
But it far more effective because it doesn't show you, like, there's no pause
Yeah.
in that. It's just people it's just people inside of, like, a membrane that is just constantly moving.
Ugh. The word membrane. It's like, I use that when we were watching, like, oh, he's inside a membrane. Come on. Ugh.
That's what we think aliens are, apparently, just membranes and goo.
And they always have such a quizzical look on their face. Like, they're like, does that feel good?
The most advanced race in the universe, and they can travel to our
look confused.
world, and they're just constantly confused and curious. And
They're beautiful. Look at my dolls. I got my UFO dolls out here.
you've got your gray aliens.
Well, I use these whenever I play my X-Files toys, though. Because there's one that looks just like one that's in the X-Files. But anyway, yeah, his feet move, too.
That's the big evolution that
Yeah.
we have is gray aliens. That's
Well-
the big evolution that they've gone through in time.
It looked like when because there's a point where D.B. Sweeney kind of goes, he's on like this umbilical cord kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he flies down, then he flies back up, and he lands inside another person's membrane. Ooh. But his hands look like they go right in the body of this person,
Yeah.
which I think that they're taking this person. It seems like they're making a hybrid. That's what I took away from that. So it seems to me that
I
that's
just
why.
took that they were experimenting upon them.
But really?
Yeah, they just wanted a few pieces of him.
Like, and then at the end, he's like, I just don't think they like me.
The big Rodney Dangerfield ending. So, yeah. What is it? Robert Patrick says to him, I'm just worried they're going to come back. And he says, I don't think they're going to come back. They don't like me very much.
I didn't get that sense when I saw little D.B. Sweeney on the screen. Under a nice, tight blanket.
Oh.
Damn. Balls for days.
See his religion.
You could see it. No one's ever said that to me before. I like that. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. That's the ending, though, is...
But he looks clean, which makes me happy. Like,
Yeah.
I really...
He's
Because
got the Dorothy Hamill cut under his hat. And,
he's got a Florida pin or
I don't
something.
think they like me very much. Wah, wah.
Classic Travis.
Oh, Travis, you kidder. What'd you do?
Chucklehead. That was my favorite. Craig Scheffer's like, you chuckleheads and you choir boy. I'm like, oh, I'm using those on somebody that I don't like. Fucking choir boy. Yeah.
That was Peter Berg's nickname.
Yeah. Oh, because he really, they established, again, having to like flip this, rewind it all the way back to the front where they're like trying to tell the cop what's going on. And they're going around the table introducing us to each character. And I think they actually said that about Peter Berg. He's like, he's a man of God, man of Jesus, And no, he looks like an architect, like just really out of place. And he's a choir boy.
Choir boy.
Oh, and one of my favorite scenes, though, is they have the town meeting, of course, at the church. And there's only one church, and that's white Catholics, you could tell. Blue carpet, I mean, the whole nine. And you look around, again, it's a sea of white people. Beautiful sea of white people. What happened? Mama, did you walk on there?
Okay, it's fine. Okay. I thought a cat had stopped the podcast.
Andy likes to do that, I'm sorry. But yeah, so, all these terrified white people standing up and saying, it's like, how do we know that the town is safe and blah, 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 blah. That was my favorite scene.
What would you like the sheriff to do about the aliens? Like, what was the point of that scene?
They needed Bill Pullman as president. That's what they needed.
What was the point of that scene?
What, to establish that that Robert Patrick's character knew everybody in the church.
Right.
Yeah,
But,
and then Kathleen
why did they
Milhoy
have
crying.
the meeting? What was the point of the meeting?
It was to talk it was a town fucking hall for these people to ask questions like,
what?
Should we be scared? Should we be scared?
Yes, be scared. I don't know. No, I mean,
You lived in Princeton. They used to do them here all the time.
but what was the point of that scene? Like that, there was like nothing that the sheriff is going to be able to tell them that is going to help.
Well,
He's not going to tell them that they're going to arrest these guys for anything. They've got nothing to arrest them for yet.
no, I think he was just briefing them.
Is a briefing.
Well, because we didn't have, like, CNN and shit like that back then. That was the internet for them. The church town hall.
I'm curious to know, and I wish there was a way to figure out just how big this story was at the time. Like, because they portray it like every media in the world showed up, and like people just started showing up at this forest in Arizona to see if they could see the aliens, and then like I'm just wondering, going really. People just turned out to see this with cameras and asking them questions everywhere they went, like they were.
Those are my favorite people. I
mean, that happens maybe in a murder and disappearance, I guess. Yes, if you think somebody has been murdered, yes, people will turn out like that. Media will turn out like that. But it seemed the movie was saying that they turned out because they thought they had proof of aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they didn't. They just had a dude who'd probably been murdered by his friends, more than likely.
Travis Walton is still alive, telling his story to this day.
The more likely story was that he had been murdered by his friends.
I like the ayahuasca story better, though. I think that's more fitting.
Oh, he was stoned as hell. I mean, there's just no question. He was, because I mean,
hey, it's 1975, right?
I'll give him credit. His story is incredible. His story, Travis Walton's real story, incredibly detailed. And do you know why it's incredibly detailed?
Because he went through it?
Because he was on serious drugs.
Wow.
He was on mushrooms, ayahuasca, whatever type of psychedelic he was on. Gave him a very memorable trip.
Why are you a victim shamer? God, you're terrible. Do you know what they did to him? We saw little DB Sweeney.
He wasn't anal probed.
I'm sorry, I beg to differ.
How did that become part of lore in
Because
Aliens?
I think they established it in the film. It looked like the one alien was at the end of the bed. Gave him the bedroom eyes.
They never said anything specifically, nor did they point anything in his butt.
But you could tell what that alien was thinking. I'm sorry. You see what DB was wearing?
I'm asking a serious question here. How did anal probe...
The origin of the anal probe. Let me bring it up.
How did anal probe become part of the alien lore? Okay. Is a genuine question I have, because, like, who was the person who said that, yeah, they put a thing up my butt?
So, the anal probing... Well, okay, look at this. It was developed during the Middle Ages by the Spanish Inquisition to attempt to cure heresy. So...
So what, the aliens are trying to cure heresy?
Yeah. I mean, what's up with aliens and anal probes?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, what is this about? Tell me the story of aliens and anal probes.
There's a picture of an alien with a bunch of peaches in its head. Fucking hell, that's great. That's great. Do they though? Do they really? It's a bit of an odd thing.
That's not a question.
Hang on. For an alien to ignore your mouth, which is much more dynamic moves in much more... Hang on. Whoever wrote this, they actually said, like, why did they go straight to your fart box? That's fantastic.
This is a serious question, damn it.
I'm looking it up. Okay.
This is an academic probe.
Fart box is great. I love that shit. Anal probing wasn't always a huge thing. Okay. UFologist, author of UFOs, Aliens, and the Battle for the Truth.
Uh-huh.
One of the people who definitely promoted the idea was Whitley Strieber.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, Communion, the first of his 2 books about abductions, has references to that kind of thing in the account he gives. He wasn't the first, but Communion was a massive selling book that apparently discussed the whole anal probe.
I love the way that alien people work. The way they work is just trying to prove each other right, which is not how you do science. Just FYI, you can't approach science by saying, I'm going to prove this is true. That's not how science works.
What do you mean? That's exactly how science works. It's like you have to go up to...
I've decided what the outcome is, and now I'm going to prove the outcome.
What?
That's science.
Call the fucking hypothesis, you dick. You dick. And the only way that they... I am not going to sit here and defend this.
You create a theory, maybe, yes, you create a theory based on evidence.
Yeah.
Based on actual evidence. You don't go, I'm going to prove that aliens exist.
What about the cornfield stuff?
Well debunked.
What about the TARDIS?
Okay, that's real.
That's fucking real.
That's fucking real. I've got a TARDIS in my house.
I was gonna say there's one in Cardiff right now. That's fucking real. But no, I think that there, especially, I mean, just interstellarly, if I may make up a word. I think that there is. I think Bill Hicks said it too. We are infinite. Infinite possibilities in this world, and to me, that's absolutely. It's possible. It's all possible. You just don't want to believe it because it scares you. You're afraid of the truth.
You've taken some trips, right?
Yeah.
What is the coolest thing you've seen on a psychedelic trip?
Oh, let's see. I was in my 20s. It wasn't really cool.
I've never been on any kind of drug ever.
Yeah, you're straight edge, motherfucker. I think for me it was talking to a picture of people I didn't know, but I in my head like I knew them. And again, everything, I barely, and I felt like I was in this like orange light. It really scared the fuck out of me. But talking to this picture, and the picture was like, these people, and they were like super reassuring, like, you're fine, you're fine.
That was your friends.
I'm like, how do you, I think it was. But, but it wasn't. Because, yeah. But I recognized them. It was really fucking, I felt like they were really far away from me, and I couldn't grab them. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
When you wake up and you're like, oh, I went through that. But, like, I didn't have, like, any,
You didn't see aliens?
I never saw aliens. I think, I saw, like, a kind of a glittery sea at one point, and there was fish. But there's fish in water anyway. I mean, it just, But I think I was so scared of being on that trip that I was afraid, like, I kept remember putting my hands over my eyes, and I kept seeing my hands, but my eyes were closed, and it was, yeah. I don't recommend it if you're not ready for it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
But
Bill Hicks has a great bit about this. Like, it's an amazing piece of comedy that he wrote about being on mushrooms and how he did them, like going out into a field at night with his friends, laying down and looking up at the sky and taking mushrooms and having an amazing trip and seeing aliens.
Yeah.
Seeing the aliens come and go and witnessing all of human history and like and realizing that the entire world is connected to each other. Like, that's lovely.
And it's lovely.
Like, it's a utopia that he's imagining while he's having this, this trip that he's having.
Well, I'm trying to remember because I've read so many Bill Hicks books, but one of my favorite is American Scream by Cynthia True, and I'm pretty positive that there was, I want to say, a chapter like when again, I think that was the same night where he felt something inside of his body, and he couldn't place what it was, but eventually it was like right where the pancreas was. So again, he had pancreatic cancer. That's how he died. So it's like, I think if you really allow yourself to connect with that, and if you don't have anxiety like I do, I think you really can see so many wonderful if you just let yourself do it. But not that Travis Walton did that. I know D.B. Sweeney didn't do that.
Either Travis Walton did that, or he's a con man. Those are the only two options.
I have a hard time
Either he's a con
that.
man who just has come up with this elaborate story to make money, or he,
or he was on drugs.
Or he was on some heavy drugs.
Why does it have to be so black and white with you?
Because he wasn't abducted by aliens.
There's always shades of gray.
You can have all your shades of gray. They don't include gray alien.
Graylien. It's my band name, Graylien. No!
There are no aliens.
You're not giving...
There's no evidence that aliens have come down and taken anybody. Zero. There's zero evidence of that. I'm sorry. There's not one single believable story of anyone being abducted by aliens.
You're wrong, but...
I'm not wrong.
I mean, again...
Give me one credible story of somebody who has actually been abducted by aliens.
Let me look it up.
That you can't debunk. You can look at... Google is not going to help you. Google is not going to help you, and Mulder is not a person.
His name is Fox Mulder, and he was a person for 12 seasons. Well, on and off until
Yeah.
he left for a little bit.
Was Scully ever abducted by
Yes,
aliens?
she was.
Did she
Early
believe
on.
it afterwards?
No. But here's the thing. So she's pregnant, like Gillian Anderson's actually pregnant during this season, season 2, I believe. And they did this really cool thing where they went in and they put this thing on her pregnant belly to make it look like they were stealing all of her eggs. So it looked so fucking cool. I hope I don't go back and watch it and it doesn't look as cool as it did. But it looked really fucking cool. And they stole all of her eggs. So she was barren, basically. That's why later on, when she has William, he's a miracle child because she shouldn't have had any babies.
Because the aliens stole them.
The aliens stole.
But she didn't actually believe it.
No, even in Fight the Fucking Future, god damn it, Mulder goes and steals Scully out of the chamber, and then literally see this UFO lifting up out of the snow, and of course she's passed out, and he's like, Scully, we all saw it. You saw it.
We saw Fox Mulder having a psychotic break, is what we saw.
No, we didn't. I'm sorry, we saw 2 different movies then. How to know if you've been abducted by aliens?
Oh.
You ready?
Oh, yeah, I'll take the quiz.
All right, here we go. Let's see here. What's the question? Oh, warning signs.
Okay.
Before an abduction occurs, sometimes people have signs that an abduction is about to occur. The first time a person is abducted, they may not realize it until after the fact, but in repeat abductions, it can be useful for telling when the abduction is imminent. Signs include things like your television or other electronics suddenly acting strangely.
That happened in the movie.
Happened on X-Files, and turning on and off by themselves. Has anyone seen the movie Signs? Hello? I think, okay, as well as feeling like you're being watched. Fuck you. It's a twist. Or hearing strange humming noises outside of your house or vehicle. The capture. During this phase of the alien abduction, the person feels helpless, like they're being captured.
I feel like that all the time.
Okay. Shut up.
Helplessness is kind of a modern human condition.
Do you feel captured right now by this?
A little bit.
If a person encounters a UFO while driving at night, their car's engine and electronics may suddenly stop working.
So Close Encounters, yeah.
And X-Files, sorry.
Right, but again, those are popular culture things.
Some of those, okay, Chris Carter even said some of the stories that he wrote were based on people's actual accounts.
Actual, with heavy quotes.
Experience of time loss. Have you experienced time loss?
No.
Ever? No. I have. But I was also probably on LSD.
You know what else causes time loss? Wine.
Not if you're drinking.
You know what else causes time loss? Whiskey.
I can't drink whiskey anymore. That's true, though. And also loss of underpants sometimes.
Time loss and underwear loss.
But also alien
TV Sweeney can
abductions.
relate.
Same. Okay. Procedures and being examined. Aliens will typically look a person over similarly to like a medical checkup because they're kind of like doctors. This involves examinations of the ears and mouth, reflex testing, and similar tests, internal probes, and scopes. Psychological testing may also be done by aliens. Conversation. Sometimes aliens will speak with the abductee and give them a message. This can vary from warning about the use of nuclear weapons or harming the environment. See, they're great! Or it might be more personal, such as telling the person that they have a higher purpose for them. Or it might be social media when you're on Facebook.
Was it a movie we watched where like some little girl died and went to heaven and she came back and her only when she came back was to tell somebody else? No, it wasn't. No, it was a movie.
Yes,
It was Curtis did it.
It was.
Garner did a
Right.
review. This little girl died, and like the only person she had for Jesus when she meets Jesus set back to live her life. She tells somebody else that Jesus wants that one to do.
That was the Christian song. Yeah?
So.
That is the one. Yeah, that's the one. And God was there all along.
Shitty purpose to kill a child.
Fuck your life, little kid. I just want you to spread my message. Just exactly what you do.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a few questions here.
Okay.
Do you have a pet or a pet dog or dogs?
Yes.
And they sleep indoors?
Yes.
Okay, next question. This is a quiz about whether or not you've ever been abducted by aliens.
Okay.
I don't know what the dog has to do with anything, but maybe this quiz will reveal itself as we go along.
Well, you
It'll
wonder
make
why
sense.
my dog barks so fucking much. This might be why.
This can't be a real quiz. Do you take vitamins or supplements?
Vitamin B. When I drink one.
Okay. But you don't take them by the handful?
Oh, no. Nope. Not like my acid.
Do you ever daydream about flying animals?
Yeah, absolutely.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. Both?
Yeah.
All right, answer both.
Okay.
Let's see. Here's brainfall.com. Brainfall.
What are you saying?
I don't know.
Dick.
Where the fuck did they come up with something that stupid?
Brainfall.
Do you find the subject of aliens and UFOs interesting?
Yes.
Is it fascinating?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is anybody's quiz. I wrote this quiz.
To wait for it to
Oh, it has load.
load the question. Do you have compulsive or addictive personality?
Yes, I do.
Definitely.
I absolutely do. I feel like we're bringing out something to talk about.
You're about to find out you were abducted by
I
aliens.
swear.
On a scale of 1 to 5, how much do you... How on a scale of 1 to 5, I think the most. How much do you care about serving anybody?
5.
What question is that related to...
Aliens want to see planet. Wait.
I thought they wanted to mine the planet, which reason to kill us all.
That's
movie was
Independence
that?
Day. Isn't it?
Maybe.
Or Mars, I don't know.
Do you ever... Do you or have you ever sleep?
No. I know.
That's exactly the answer. I know.
Start putting myself on my ring at night. Yeah, good.
Let's see. Have men in suits ever come to your door?
Well, did I order them? My party. Yes.
Yes.
Very lonely.
What time was it?
So weird, but no.
Did you slap him?
No, I had it was the governor of Minnesota, Jesse Ventura.
Are you special?
Yes. In what way?
Well, your answers are, I guess you could say that's aren't we all, or of course, snowflake.
Okay, who wrote this quiz?
Ben Shapiro.
Fuck you, Ben Shapiro. Yeah.
You are a snowflake?
I know, I think so.
So you're saying, I guess you could say
Yeah,
that?
I guess you'd say I'm fucking special.
All right, your answer is, I guess you could say that.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
You're not snowflake.
Libtard. Fuck.
Final question. Do you have any phobias or irrational fears like spiders or heights?
It's absolutely.
One or two? Or say one or two, or yes, plenty of them?
Plenty.
Plenty of fears.
Yeah.
Irrational fears.
I'm also thinking about being up high. No.
Having the results, if Amy has ever been abducted by an alien. Still calculating.
Okay.
It's almost done. It's getting there. Let's see. Let's get the
I
results.
feel like we know what the answer is, don't you?
There is no results. This is just a quiz that fucks with you.
What? Well, that's anticlimactic.
I know, right? That is fucking bullshit, man.
I mean, again, I think we all know the truth. That is, it's out there.
Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess I was. Also, I have a lot of phobias.
I'm pretty sure you were.
That or I'm just really neurotic, which that's part of it too.
Fair.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a fair answer.
Thank you. Yeah.
So if you were ever abducted by an alien and you got a story to tell, obviously, what's the address in Pueblo, Colorado?
60602. It's Pueblo could just write a self-addressed stamped envelope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, of course, the only way you can get the VHS of this podcast.
We really need to post that address.
This week only, VHS episodes are signed by Jurgen Prochnow.
That's right. Oh, Jurgen. I swear to God, I saw you in that church scene in this film. Do you think I did?
Every movie.
It's in every fucking movie.
He's been in every film.
We should, you know what, again, I feel like if he's going to do movies like this, at least give him a line. Give him a fucking line.
He was only the biggest star in the world at the time.
We couldn't make him citizen number 3.
I guess they don't want to pay the price for Jurgen for many movies. And
it was the early 90s, and let's just say
his price was pretty high at the time.
you can't afford Jurgen in the early 90s. we're just putting that out there.
It's true.
I really want him to call me. Jurgen, my number. Also post that theater.
Yeah.
Please call me. I'm very lonely.
Do you have any final thoughts on Fire in the Sky? This is a bad movie.
The fact that they never said Fire in the Sky.
Yeah, that is disappointing.
That pissed me off. Yeah.
But I don't think this is a very good movie.
No, I think the acting was solid. I
think they're all committed, but
yeah,
they're all committed to something that is letting them down repeatedly. I think this is a poorly directed movie. Mm-hmm. I think they hired James Garner for
nothing.
Being James Garner.
Right. Soundtrack sucks.
The scripting is awful.
Yeah.
It's atrocious. Just lots of scenes where nothing important happens.
Welcome to my life.
I think they wanted to make a movie where they could do that alien abduction scene. I think that's all they really wanted and cared about. And
they should have made a short film like that. That would have been like Oscar-worthy short film, and make D.B. Sweeney as Paul Rudd, the character.
He looks like Paul Rudd.
He looks like Paul Rudd in the movie.
Weird.
It is. Even sounds like him in some scenes. It's weird.
And the other guy looks like Stephen Dorff and Norman Reedus.
And Norman Reedus. That's weird. So many, like... It was portentous. Like,
Yeah.
it was foretold that we would meet these people later
But, like,
on.
there again, just distracting bullshit.
Yeah, distracting
throughout
bullshit.
This movie. Like, Craig Sheffer's terrible hair.
Yeah. Robert Patrick's terrible spirit gum face at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, the beard work was not great.
No, but still, shout out to Robert, man. You were fucking hot in this movie. I'll leave my number for you on our website as well. We need a website first. We'll post that today.
There's this wonderful show I watch on YouTube. This woman, Ashley Burton, Awkward Ashley. She's like millennial. She watches movies and she's got this thing which she'll do, and it's so random. You never know when she's going to pop it out, but she'll just say, "Oh, Gene Wilder, he could get it."
I'm already best friends with this person. That's my kind of sex right
Like
there.
you're Robert Patrick. It's like he could get it.
He can get it. Who's Cody always say, I fuck with that. Yeah, abso-fucking-lutely. Absolutely. Oh!
It was very funny.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. No, I just was reading more about Robert Patrick.
Ashley so she just recently did the Man Who Shot Liberty Valance with John Wayne, and she's like, and she never once said that he could get it, like never once. But then she watches The Quiet Man and goes, you know what?
He could get it.
This John Wayne, he could get it.
The only John Wayne that can't get it, Genghis Khan. And he won't get it. Because fuck you for that role.
Wow.
Yeah.
At least it gave him cancer, though.
Jesus! Christ!
That role gave him cancer.
It,
You don't know
I
this?
just feel like you smacked your dick in my face. Why
don't-
would you say that?
No,
He did not.
They literally, like, most of the, like, 90% of the cast of that movie got cancer from where they shot it in Utah. It was right on top of a nuclear waste dump.
You are kidding.
There was a nuclear, so they've tested nuclear weapons several miles up the road from where they were shooting this movie, and the nuclear waste got into the water that was running along the creek where they shot the movie. So, like, over 100 people in the cast and crew of that movie, The Conqueror, got cancer. Including John Wayne.
Wow! How did I not know that? I love shit like that.
That is absolutely true.
Wow.
I just did a documentary review on a movie that was talking about that.
Did they ever make like a movie about it?
They made a documentary about it.
No, like a real movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not what I have to think about, you know?
Oh, The Conqueror was the real movie.
I don't want that one. I want like James Franco to play John Wayne in that.
James Franco doesn't really work much anymore.
Doesn't matter. Does it? Does it? I leave James Franco back in Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah.
That's where I'm leaving him. Anyway.
Next week.
Yeah. What are we doing?
We were deciding between Point of No Return and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
I think if MJ's coming back, I think we should do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
Are they a big Mutant Ninja Turtle fan?
18 and lots of colors. I don't know. I just feel like Point of No Return is going to bore the fuck out of all of us. I mean, again, I
You don't
liked
think it holds
it.
up? I loved Point of No Return.
I feel like it lags, and there's an element of boredom. Plus, mostly, it's like I just want to get you guys in here for the podcast and get the fuck out so I can drink. So, I mean, I don't want to do that one.
And yes, I'm fully aware of La Femme Nikita, and I'm sure that La Femme Nikita is quite good.
Not the TV show on USA.
I had a huge crush on Bridget Fonda.
Fuck yeah.
So yeah,
Who didn't?
Singles came out before this.
Her and Singles though. That was like
I wrote about Singles just last year.
my girl and Kira Sedgwick too. They both look fucking hot in that movie.
Yeah,
Smoking. Smoking.
they could get it.
They could get it.
They could get it.
Yep. Almost dirty. Almost.
That's another funny one that I got to throw in there about Ashley. She'll do that with women too. Like,
I love that.
like
Equal opportunity, man.
She'll throw that out there.
Good. I'm all for that. I need to check that out.
Yeah,
what
she's
is she?
It's Awkward Ashley.
All right, I'll
Yeah.
check that out for sure.
Very, very funny YouTube channel. Good recommend for this week.
Excellent.
All right, next week is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
We'll see you then.
Number 3.
Love you.